Welcome back to my New York Jets franchise rebuild on Madden 24, and no, that title is not a typo. Because Madden 24 is now about a month away from the end of its life cycle, but more importantly, as of recording this, we're less than a week away from the release of College Football 25. I really don't think it's going to be a wise decision for my channel to continue this series too much longer. So in today's episode, we will be doing the rest of the regular season, and the next episode will be our entire playoff run to wrap up this series. But obviously I have to change the way I was going through games in this series because I believe generally 2 games takes about 20 to 30 minutes every episode. So what we're going to do this time is I'm going to be super simming most of the game, and if it comes down to the last possession or two, we will be jumping in to watch. But aside from that, we're going to be doing a lot of simulation today, starting with the game against the Baltimore Ravens. And game number 1 was a really close one, but it really never came down to the final possession. We got the ball back with about 2.5 minutes to go and ran down the rest of the clock, so we get a win here against Baltimore, 25-21. We will quickly be going over player stats in this episode. Jared McDonald goes 16 for 20 for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson goes for 197 and 2 scores. Let's see what happened on the ground. No one really went off. Adonis Rhodes went for 72 yards. Breece Hall went for 49. Both of them came away with a touchdown. Receiving, Brendan Rice, 7 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews got a couple, and Jalen Waddle got one. I have never really looked at the opponent's defensive stats, so we're not going to do that here. George McLeod leads our team in tackles with a total of 10, and in sacks, Jermaine Johnson came away with the only 1. Now, as we move on to week 8, we are obviously now 4-2, but the Patriots are 5-2, so they are still ahead of us in the division, but now we get a divisional matchup against the Buffalo Bills. Well, this game is going to come down to an onside kick. Down by 7 with 32 seconds to go. The kick is away and it is recovered by Buffalo, so they will get out of here with a victory and we will fall to 4-3. Quarterback Jared McDonald actually played really well in this game despite 1 interception. He goes for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen goes for 252 and 2 scores. Running the ball, no one really did anything. Breece Hall appears to have been out of this game as Shaq Coles is our leading rusher, 9 carries for 32 yards. In receiving, Jalen Waddle, 11 catches, 180 yards and a score. Gabe Davis got a touchdown, and Brendan Rice came away with 2. Now let's go check out some defensive stats, and we're just going to look at ours. Damian Bryant led the team in tackles with a total of 9. We got no sacks today and no interceptions. Following that game, we have a pretty massive injury, so you can see a few guys here are out for at least this week. I have not simulated to the next week, but safety George McLeod has a partial MCL tear and is going to miss the next 7 weeks of the season. Obviously, that could end up being a massive loss on this team, and with us falling to 4-3, we're now going to be in 3rd place in the division, and our next game is against the 6-2 New York Giants. And with no George McLeod, our defense might be in a bit of trouble as we just lost 38-17. The Giants quarterback in this universe is JJ McCarthy, so obviously that's where he ended up going. He goes for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jared McDonald only 197, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. On the ground, not a lot going on. Sidney Jackson, 51 yards and a score. Breece Hall got a touchdown, and their backup running back got a touchdown, and Julius Hartwell. Receiving, Jordan Addison, 10 for 150 and 2 scores. And where's our top guy? That is Brock Bowers, 6 for 44. Jalen Waddle did manage to catch a touchdown, but just not a very good day all around for us as we fall to 4-4. Sauce Gardner leads the team in tackles. Jermaine Johnson comes away with 3 sacks on the day, and once again, no interceptions. I'll be honest, whenever I was planning the last couple episodes of this series, I did not think about the possibility of us missing the playoffs this season, but I feel like here at week 10, that is definitely a possibility. We are 4-4 and right now 3rd place in the division. Luckily, we are only 1 game back. But our offense finally looks back on track after this game as we pick up the win 38-24, and I really expected to have to jump into more games. I figured we'd have a lot more close games, but I will take this win as we improve now to 5-4. And Jared McDonald had an absolute hell of a day, 27 of 34 for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. CJ Stroud also played pretty well, 313 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the ground, Breece Hall, 76 yards and a score. And then receiving, Brendan Rice, 9 for 115 and 2 touchdowns. Brock Bowers got a couple touchdowns. Amari Cooper is now a Houston Texan. He got a couple. and Ramon Gordon also got a couple for Houston. Over on defense, it looks like DeAndre Truman, our replacement for George McLeod, actually led the team in tackles. In sacks, Aiden Hutchinson got 1.5, so did Jermaine Johnson, and then Anton Lane and Damian Bryant apparently shared 1, and interceptions we once again got 0. But despite picking up the win, we remain in 3rd place in the division because the Patriots and Dolphins also won in Week 10, so now they are 6-4 as we get ready to take on the 2-7 Washington Commanders. And we finally have a game to jump into. We are tied up at 19 with 3:38 to go. From our own 27-yard line, McDonald going to throw this one downfield. That's going to be caught by Brendan Rice for the first down. Of course, we beat Houston by 2 touchdowns and are in a dogfight with a 2-7 Washington team, but now we get a 5-yard carry from Breece Hall. Officially under 3 minutes to play in the game. It's another handoff to Breece Hall, and that's just going to be a 2-yard carry. Jared McDonald back in shotgun again. I believe that is Shaq Coles now checks in at running back, or possibly Joe Mixon. It is apparently going to be Joe Mixon, but a throw to the outside finds Brock Bowers, and that'll take us down to the 2-minute warning as we get the first down. All we need to do is take care of the ball and kick a field goal. From the 49-yard line, he'll drop back to pass. He's going to throw this one to the outside, caught by Brendan Rice, who will break that tackle and get met and brought down for a 7-yard play to set up a 2nd and 3. Now down to 1:35 to play. From the Washington 42-yard line, McDonald will take the snap. It's a handoff to Breece Hall, who goes up the middle and won't find any room. Now it's a 3rd and 3. If we don't get this first down, I am afraid we will try an incredibly long field goal. It's a handoff to Breece Hall, who goes up the middle, and we won't get the first down. It leads to a 4th and 1, and we will send out Jake Elliott for an incredibly long field goal try, just like I was afraid of. A 58-yard attempt. The kick is away, and this one will be good as we take a 3-point lead. Don't get me wrong, I trust Jake Elliott, but we have already lost one game earlier this season by trying an incredibly long field goal, missing it, and giving the other team an opportunity to win the game. But now Washington will take over at the 23-yard line, led by their franchise quarterback in Eric Wentz. I guess they just got to recycle that Carson Wentz jersey because he is wearing number 11. 1:03 to play. He'll drop back to pass. A quick throw will be caught, and he's immediately brought down for a 5-yard play. Let's see what they're going to do here. They just decide to run up to the line and not burn a timeout. 48 seconds to go. Wentz will drop back to pass again. He throws to the outside, caught along the sideline for the first down, and he got out of bounds. 44 seconds to play. Just don't let them into field goal range, defense. Wentz out of shotgun, will drop back to pass again. He's going to fire over the middle, and that is luckily knocked out of his man's hands. 2nd and 10. Wentz lines up in shotgun again. About 40 seconds to go now. He'll drop back to pass. And he's going to throw this one to the outside. That is caught and once again knocked out of his man's hands by Damian Bryant. 35 seconds remaining. Now it's going to be a 5-wide set. Can we please get some pressure on the quarterback? Wentz will drop back to pass. A quick throw downfield will be knocked out of his man's hands for a 3rd straight play. This time it's Anton Lane. So the game will come down to this. Can they get the conversion? They come out in a pistol set. Wentz will drop back to pass. He's standing in the pocket going deep downfield, and that is off the foot of Anton Lane, and the Jets will get out of here with a win. Well, it was not a pretty day for our offense, apparently, at least not throwing the ball. Jared McDonald, 15 of 22 for 155, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Eric Wentz, 17 of 30 for 221, 1 touchdown. Once again, we get no interceptions. Running the ball, Breece Hall had 87 yards and a score. Receiving, Brendan Rice, 7 for 62. Terry McLaurin got a touchdown, and Garrett Wilson got a touchdown today. Over on defense, Damian Bryant led our team in tackles. With sacks, we got 1 from Dexter Atkins, 1 from Quentin Williams, 1 from Jermaine Johnson, and then Aiden Hutchinson and Brian Walker apparently shared 1, but we already saw we got no interceptions. And with that win, we now take first place in the AFC East because the Patriots and Dolphins are both 6-5, but this division is still really up for grabs by anybody. Buffalo's only 5-6, so we're only 1 game ahead of them, but now we get the game against the New England Patriots. We could possibly take a 2-game lead in the division. And that is exactly what we will do, getting a 21-14 win over Caleb Williams and the Patriots here. Yes, it was a 1-score game, but it really came down to if we could chew out the rest of the clock. We got the ball back with like 3 minutes to go, immediately got a first down, and it was just kind of over from there as they were out of timeouts. McDonald goes 17 for 24, 210 yards and a score. Caleb Williams, 21 for 32, 199 and a touchdown. Running the ball, Breece Hall ran for 86 yards. Nick Chubb only ran for 36. Our defense apparently was amazing today. Joe Mixon even found the end zone once. Receiving, this guy that I don't want to ever say his name because I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher it. He got 7 catches for 88 yards in a score. Brendan Rice also got a touchdown. Over on defense, well, Christian Gonzalez had the most tackles, but Damian Bryant leads our team with 7. In sacks, Jonathan Greener got 2. Aiden Hutchinson got 1. And interceptions, we once again came away with 0. We haven't gotten a single pick, I don't believe, in this entire episode. I really don't know what math was going on inside my head before the last game when I said we could take a 2-game division lead, because we definitely cannot. But now we have beaten the Patriots both times this season. We have a 2-game lead over the Bills, but the Dolphins had a bye week, so they're still just going to be 1 game behind us, and we still have to play them again later this year. But we can't really worry about Miami right now, as we had a Super Bowl rematch against the Dallas Cowboys, who were obviously having a pretty down year, but we pick up the win 31-7. This one was never even close. And this might be the reason why. I don't know if Dak Prescott got injured or is retired, but either way, Deshaun Watson is their quarterback. He threw for 142, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jared McDonald goes for 237 and 2 scores. On the ground, we have not had a single 100-yard rusher in this entire episode, I don't believe. But Breece Hall got 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Garrett Wilson, 7 for 107 and a score. Brendan Rice got a touchdown, and CeeDee Lamb apparently caught a touchdown for Dallas. Over on defense, that is the Cowboys defense. I don't want that. Brian Walker led our team in tackles. Aiden Hutchinson got 2 sacks. Dexter Atkins got 1.5. Quinnen Williams got half of 1, and we did get 1 interception. It was by Damian Bryant. So, this would be the reason Dak Prescott is not the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, is because apparently he signed with the Atlanta Falcons in free agency, so he is now the starter over there. I honestly have no idea how in the hell I missed that in the last offseason video. That is a massive change. But now, moving on from that, we get to take on the 8-4 Philadelphia Eagles, but in the last week, we did finally get the option to view the playoff picture. And as you can see right now, we are currently listed as the 2 seed. Last year we got in as the 3 seed. I would really like to finish as the 1 seed and obviously just skip out on the wildcard round entirely. And getting a win like this will definitely help those chances as we get out of here with a win 31-21. I really thought we would be having a lot more close games as I wrapped up this season, but obviously that is not the case so far. Jared McDonald goes for 294 and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts goes for 203 and a touchdown. Running the ball, there were several rushing touchdowns, one from DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, Shaq Coles, and Jalen Hurts. So I imagine that Breece Hall was once again injured for this game since he has no stats. Jalen Waddle got 101 yards, Devontae Smith got 104, and Zay Jones got 2 touchdowns for us. Over on defense, it's going to be Malik Hooker and Dexter Atkins, both with 6 tackles to lead the team, and we got a sack from Aiden Hutchinson, Dexter Atkins, and Jermaine Johnson. And with that win over Philadelphia, we have now taken a 2-game lead in the division because everyone else is now 7-6. I want to see how far off are we from that number 1 seed. We are right now tied with the Broncos, but the Broncos did beat us earlier this season. It was pretty much a defensive shootout the entire game, but they got the win 13-10, so they do own that tiebreaker over us should it come down to that game. And we will get to jump into this game. With 2 minutes to go, we're up by 7 at our own 43-yard line. Jacksonville does have all 3 timeouts. It's going to be a handoff to Breece Hall, who goes to the outside, breaking tackles. He gets the first down and is brought down to the 43-yard line. That is obviously not going to help them out that much. Now, a minute 54 to go as they have burned their first timeout. He's going to send him out in motion. We fake it to Garrett Wilson, or I'm sorry, to Jalen Waddle, and give a 1-yard carry to Breece Hall. Now, a minute 50 to play. It's a 2nd and 9. At the Jacksonville 42-yard line. It'll be another handoff to Breece Hall, and he bounces it to the outside, and he'll get close to the marker. They rule it 3rd and inches, but our backup tight end, Eric Crockett, is hurt, so we have to burn one of our timeouts now. A minute 46 to go. From the Jacksonville 33-yard line, we'll take the snap. It's a handoff to Breece Hall up the middle. He gets the first down, and will be brought down at about the 30-yard line, and we should be able to knee out this game and get out of here with a win. The final stats today are not very pretty. Trevor Lawrence went for 184 and a touchdown, but Jared McDonald went for 135 and 2 scores. Apparently, we could not really throw the ball today. We also really couldn't run it, though, as Breece Hall only came away with 97 yards, still doesn't break 100 yards. Really no idea where any of the points came from in this game. Brock Bowers, 6 for 47. Evan Ingram, 6 for 71. Jermaine Burton got a touchdown, Brendan Rice got a touchdown, and Eric Crockett even got a touchdown, even though he got injured later in the game. Let's see how our defense played. And there are several people with 5 tackles here, so it's a 5-way tie. In sacks, Quinnen Williams got 1, Aiden Hutchinson got 1, and once again, no interceptions. But George McLeod is now back, so that's good. And we now officially hold the #1 seed as Denver has dropped back-to-back games and might not even win their division at this point. But as long as we win out, we have the #1 seed. So right now, we control our own destiny for the AFC side of the playoffs. And our next game is against the Indianapolis Colts, who are currently 5-9. Go ahead and make that record 5-10 as we get a pretty easy victory here, 35-13. And Jared McDonald absolutely went off, 24 for 27, 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Anthony Richardson threw for 190 and a touchdown. Running the ball, Joe Mixon got a score. Breece Hall, 69 yards on 15 carries. Receiving, Brendan Rice apparently killed them, 9 for 142 and 3 scores. And no one else really put up a lot of numbers. Jalen Waddle did come away with an interception. I'm sorry, a touchdown though. Don't know where I thought he was coming away with an interception. Let's see what our defense did though. Danny Campbell and Damian Bryant both led the team in tackles. Did that say a Colts player had 16? Yeah, Jermaine Pratt came away with 16 tackles today. In sacks, Aiden Hutchinson got 1, Jermaine Johnson got 1, and Quinnen Williams got 1. Interceptions, we once again came away with 0. And with that win, our lead for the #1 seed grows to 2 games because the Broncos just lost their 3rd straight game and the Chiefs lost a game. So now the Patriots are at 9-6 with a 3-game win streak. The Bills are at 9-6 with a 5-game win streak. But currently we are sitting at 11-4. We do have a playoff spot secure with that X beside our name with a 7-game win streak. But that could come to an end against the 7-8 Dolphins because they are really fighting for their season possibly. The Bills are listed as the 7th seed right now with their 9-6 record. So if there is any sort of scenario where Miami can get into the playoffs, they cannot lose this game. And Miami's season could come down to this. We are up by 3 with a 3rd and inches. 1:38 to go. It's a handoff to Breece Hall, and he will get the first down and more, getting brought down to the 43-yard line. I apologize for the crowd cutting out there, but we get the win. But Tua did give us one hell of a fight today. 21 for 32, 249 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jared McDonald comes over with 230 and 2 scores. On the ground, Breece Hall got 82 yards and a touchdown. Joe Mixon got 50 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, DJ Sutherland got a score along with Rome Odunze and Tyreek Hill. But down here, our 2 receiving touchdowns are from Breece Hall and Brendan Rice. Rice is having a terrific season. He's going to have another just ridiculous stat line, I think. But Damian Bryant got 7 tackles, almost said 7 touchdowns. But he led the team in tackles. In sacks, Jermaine Johnson got 2.5. Quinnen Williams got 1. Dexter Atkins got 1. And Danny Campbell got that half of 1, I assume from Jermaine Johnson. But still no interceptions. We now get ready for the final regular season game of the year with our 12-4 record. Now, our series best so far is 12-5. That was last season when we got the 3 seed. But as we go and look at the standings right now, you can see we have that Z next to our name, which means we have secured the #1 seed. There is no reason to play any of our starters in this game. So I will probably just go ahead and sub in all of the backups. Yes, that means our 8-game win streak is probably going to come to an end. But I think having all of our starters for the playoffs is a lot better of a situation. Unfortunately, I was correct about our 8-game winning streak coming to an end as we lose 24-14. But I do want to add that I think just having all of our starters going into the playoffs was way too good of an opportunity to pass up. So starting at quarterback today for us was rookie Brian Howard. In his debut, he goes for 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not a terrific debut, but not a horrible debut either. Dak Prescott, 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson becomes the first player in this episode, I believe, to run for over 100 yards in a game with 101 and a touchdown. Receiving, Drake London, 8 for 72 in a score. And it looks like Zay Jones is the guy who caught both of our quarterbacks' touchdowns. Over on defense, leading the team in tackles is going to be Cody Canfield with a total of 9. We got 1 sack because Jermaine Johnson somehow found his way on the field, and still no interceptions. And now we are officially the #1 seed in the AFC side of the playoffs, and despite them winning 11 games, because that's what that victory gave them, Atlanta gets into the playoffs, but only as the number 7 seed with 11 wins. That's absolutely insane. But as we now jump to the divisional round of the playoffs, you can see the 7 seed Los Angeles Chargers ended up picking up the win over the 2 seed Broncos 31-28. So that is who we get in the very first round of the playoffs. And on top of that, the number 3 and 4 seed also lost because it is the 5 seed Patriots and the 6 seed Ravens in the other game. But like I mentioned at the start of this episode, the next one will be the series finale. If we lose in the divisional round of the playoffs, that is how this series will end. Obviously, I am hoping to end it with a Super Bowl victory, but we'll see exactly how that one plays out.